we're going to move on to playoffs. As you know, you've been part of this series so far, Brent, about the Minute to Win It challenge, the Minute of Power challenge, 60 seconds of power without Bauer today, but it rhymes, so it's cool. And you've pulled in 12th seed. Now, sitting in that's the last. I don't want to say it because I don't want to hurt your feelings, because you're one of our first contenders, which is the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing. And then we've seen everyone else. But Mr. Scallan came in halfway along the way, and he was that good that we had to just let him keep talking for like an extra minute, 2 minutes. I don't know how long it went for. I was totally enthralled. I've recorded it onto my phone. It's in my playlist. It went on shuffle. It comes in every now and again. I can hear it. It's excellent. I just love listening to his voice. So Mike Scallan is joining us today. How you going, Mike?
Good and you, thank you.
Good and you. Was that a question?
What was the question? How am I? In relation to whom? I guess I'm good. That's the standard reply. I'm fine. How are you?
I don't know what's going on anymore with my life. I've just reevaluated everything I ever thought to be true. Okay. We'll get back to that. But Mike's here. He's number 1 seed. So as we know, in playoffs, Mike gets home ground advantage. He gets to set the topic that these two are going to contend for. So at this point in time, Brent, we're going to ask you to leave the room because you're not allowed to know about this. You're going to the cone of silence. And I'll get you when we're ready for you. So the door's over there. Mike, so you get to choose the topic. And you've probably heard from last week's show already the rules to this, and you've been thinking long and hard about it for a week now. You get to choose the topic, home ground advantage. Now, Brent has to know a little bit about this. He has to be able to talk for a minute. We don't want to stump him completely, but we don't want it to be easy. You've got home ground advantage. Trent nearly lost home ground advantage last week by giving it away a very easy topic. It was almost came down to a 50-50. We're going to ask for a viewer vote, but we just had to make a call. And I think we came through with the right response in the end. We haven't got too much hate mail asking for Pete to go through, so we're going to just go with Trent winning. Have you got a topic for us?
I do. I've been thinking about this, and I think because Brent is a past student of mine, history student, and I know that he enjoys history, I think we'd go for something that is common ground, because if the tables were turned, I would hope that he would not choose a sporting topic. So the topic that I've chosen is revolution.
All right, so you've got 30 seconds now to be thinking about it, although you've been thinking about it for a long time. Then as it goes, you get the 60 seconds to talk about it, and we'll get Brent back in. We'll give him the 60 seconds. You can stay if you want. You can get back to your busy life, or and we'll vote a winner from there. So that's getting on your 30 seconds, and your 60 seconds begins in 3, 2.
Strange thing is that although revolution has been on my mind for quite some time in the historical sense, it hasn't been top of my mind for today. The first thing I think is important is to ask what a revolution is, and there is debate. Generally, we talk about revolution as a full circle, and in that sense, we move around the sun. So we are driven by revolution. We measure our age by revolution. I've gone around the sun something like 53 years or so, I'm told. And but the revolution that interests me is the revolution of change, because that's where it's at. And I think that sometimes we miss the opportunities that revolutions do offer. One of the most exciting revolutions that is happening at the moment is the revolution in education. When I was much younger, and maybe when you were a bit younger, education was very different, but it is changing dramatically. We are becoming more flexible in society. We're beginning to realize that perhaps there is a difference between education and learning, that the system we created, and interestingly enough, the Industrial Revolution is responsible for the education system that we have. And it was created to deal with a large increase of middle-class students, and so you had this production line established, and that's the system that we have today. But the revolution now is now that we've got that system, we are thinking about where to take it from there, because clearly it's not working. We have loads of young people who are leaving school and they are still directionless. They have book knowledge, and part of education is that. The revolution is, I think, the dawning on us that we must teach our children how to think, how to be alive in the world, not just to give them book knowledge. Learning versus education per se. And the most important revolution in human development is actually the book, the story, Gutenberg Press. That more than anything has created, I think, the most fundamental leap forward in human evolution. And isn't it interesting that the word evolution is revolution? Because it takes great courage to move forward. And I think my revolution is about to peter out. I've got to run to a Year 9 English tutoring group, and if I don't, they are not going to be able to complete the revolution of their lives.
Oh my goodness, the bar has been set high. We let him go for 3 solid minutes there. That's 6 to 180 seconds. That's revolutionising this game. We were going to stop you at 60, but I just wanted to see where you're going with that. And that is some great thoughts, and we could talk for months on that. Maybe we'll get you back to talk about that as a topic, the revolution of the education system, because I totally agree with you. You can't judge goldfish by their ability to climb trees. Wonderful. Now we're inviting Brent back in. We're saying goodbye to Mike Scallan. He took us on a whirlwind tour. Now it's only fair, Brent. We've revolutionised the rules for this, because the topic is revolution. He's given you the topic of revolution, and we're going to give you a bit of time to think about this, because he just went for 3 solid minutes. So it's only fair that if you want to go up to 3 minutes talking about this, then that's fine. Although Mike does talk very slowly, so if you talk quicker, you could probably say the same amount in 90 seconds. But I got lost. I forgot to tell him to stop, to be honest. But I'll add that to my playlist on my phone as well. It's inspirational stuff there, Mike. And while I've been dribbling, Brent's been thinking about revolution. And so the rules are set. 60 seconds is the minimum. You can go up to 180 seconds if you'd like to today, Brent. How are you feeling about this one?
I was a student of Mike Scallan, and oftentimes I would get lost in his translucent voice in classes. I just know that he set the standard high. I'm going to try get through this. Move out of 12th place.
Are you ready?
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, when you're ready.
All right. So what I think is fascinating about revolutions is how prolific they are in our society. I think that revolution incites change, and all change, whether it be good or bad, progresses the human race. As you know, revolution comes from the Latin term revolutio, to mean to turn around. And I think a lot of the modern revolutions that you think of, the Industrial Revolution, the Technological Revolution, they've all turned around the direction of mankind, and they've taken it from the direction it was going into a direction anew. I think that these revolutions can be controversial. Some people argue that they are beneficial. Some people argue that they're detrimental to the human race. But I think that all of them progress our evolutionary status as human beings. That we, for example, the technological revolution, as they'd say, the introduction of technology, furthered medicine by so much. The Industrial Revolution has furthered our construction lines, our manufacturing, our ability to build cities and build infrastructures. And if you think about it, every revolution that's come with government, that when governments are overturned, the French Revolution, the Russian Revolution, it gives power to human race and human population, that the government is not the cap of form of empowerment. Like philosophy says, the belief in God is rational to the point that it gives people a incentive to believe that something other than government defines them, that something that other government is the cap of power. I think that revolution, or even the idea of it, gives those people who feel like they've been what's the word for it? Not justified by their treatment, the ability to have a sense or a goal to go forward. People who are oppressed in Russia, people who are oppressed in France, were able to use their ability and their right to to be. All right, I think I got a little bit lost there, but they were allowed to use their ability to revolutionize, to turn around the place where they're at, and to turn around. Yeah, you see the definition there. Turn around their ways and move it into a new forward, which I think is the whole idea around revolution.
Wowee. And people are messaging in on who they think should be the winner, and it is Torn, just like Natalie Imbruglia's song. So Isaac and I have read the fine print to the rules of this game, and we've realised that there are 2 wildcard entries that need to be put in place to go through to the next round of playoffs. As we all know, that playoffs happen either by 2s, 4s, 8s, 16s. Okay, so we didn't get 16, we ended up with 12, so we have to have 2 wildcard entries to make up 8 for the contenders for the next round. And because that was so evenly matched, we're putting Mike Scallan through as the number 1 seed, and we're putting Brent Quick in there. So he'll either end up 7th or 8th, depending on the quality of the wildcards coming through. And my highest suspicion at the moment is he'll be in 7th place leading in. So we won't be matching him up against Mike Scallan. He'll be versing whoever comes in at second highest ranked winner overall, which is very impressive, seeing as Brent bombed out majorly during the rounds. He had a terrible front. We gave him an easy subject on Australian soccer. I could have talked about it for weeks. He could have just started talking about Perth Glory and it would have been okay, but he choked, there's no better word for it, and didn't even make 60 seconds. But he's redeemed himself. He made playoffs just by being in the competition, and that just goes to show that people can do a Bradbury, they can come from behind, and they can win these events from out of the top 4 positions. So well done on that, Brent. You are through with a wild card. How are you feeling about that one?
Feeling great, man. I feel just like the Warriors in the recent playoff series. You know, you've been down by 18 double figures in every match, and yet you come back and you put in a victory there, and you just hope to get through to the next round.